No one wants to speak about death. The truth is, as young men, we feel invincible. We feel that illness and injury, even as someone who's experienced illness and injury, I still don't deep down at times believe that that is coming for me. We believe that death is meant for other people, and we believe we're always going to be this young, this healthy, this strong, and we'll keep on going. You have people like Brian Johnson who are living examples of people who are trying to live forever. There's one truth about death that we as men need to accept, and it's something that we've forgotten in our modern society. We're scared of death. We don't talk about this enough. In this video, I'm going to explore that. I'm going to explore the topic of what if you only had 5 years left to live. The truth is, whether you like it or not, the end is coming. We might believe I'm invincible. You might tell yourself I'm still young. I will live until 80. But these things we tell ourselves aren't truthful. We often fail to look around at the change we see in life and how things are getting older and aging and decaying. And we tell ourselves that life is certain. There was a girl just 1 week ago here in Vietnam. She was 19 years old. She died in a motorbike accident. So this last truth that we try and tell ourselves and convince ourselves that we're all expected and we have the right and we're meant to live until 80 isn't true at all. In countries like Mexico, they have, in this picture here, the Day of the Dead, where they celebrate the dead and they reflect on it. Whereas in the West, we have become so comfortable, we've rejected the concept of death in the West. It's become a taboo subject, even though it's something each of us goes through. Everyone will experience death in their life, everyone will die. We try and escape this through things like health trackers, trying to always optimize and improve our lives in small ways until we finally reach a state of happiness. Maybe we end up doing things that aren't that meaningful for us. We're pursuing goals that aren't going to really contribute to our lives, that aren't going to deepen our relationships. The truth is, confronting death destroys our feeling of control that we believe we have over our life. It makes us question our day-to-day, and it makes us question whether we're on the right path. See, when we truly question death, we also question our life, what we're doing. And if we are on that wrong path where we feel we're distracting ourselves, we're not living up to our potential, then when we encounter and when we embrace that death is coming at some point, it makes us feel worse. And this may feel like a bad thing, but this practice, and it's a common Stoic practice as well, it allows us to refocus our energy on what really matters in our life. Death truly forces us to face ourselves. As humans, we hate uncertainty. We like knowing that things are going to be okay. We like knowing that things are going to turn out well. Death is uncertain. It can strike us at any moment. We hate letting go of control. Death is something we have no influence over. It can strike at any moment. We hate regret. We hate this feeling that we've wasted our time. But with death, when we accept death as true, that means we have limited time and limited options as a result of limited time, which creates the potential for regret. We also don't like change as humans. Accepting death forces us to change. We hate identity shifts as well. Death forces us to change our self-image. If we believe that we're always a strong, youthful man, I still think it's positive to think this way, but we have to shift that image if we fall into a period of illness or injury. Myself, I've had a knee injury, and I've had to rethink my self-image of someone who is very sporty and healthy and fit. So death is uncomfortable, but that discomfort isn't necessarily a bad thing. It does just force us to face ourselves. It holds up a mirror to how we're living. And we can't truly live well and live the lives we want if we ignore death. When we look at our fears, people say that all our fears have the same root cause. If we fear failure, we really fear running out of time. If we fear being alone, we fear living without the experience of love, of missing out on that experience. If you feel this urgency to build a legacy, maybe you have that fear of being forgotten. And that's really the fear of death and the fact that in 100, 200, 300 years, almost everyone's going to be forgotten. In 2,000 years, there may be 1 or 2 people who are remembered from this century, if they're lucky. And they will only be mentioned in passing. We also fear uncertainty, and this links back to the fear we have of death itself. We never know when it's going to happen. We want to create this safe and comfortable life where we don't have to be uncertain. We want predictability because this plays a trick on our brain, and we believe that we've created some place where we are comfortable and that everything will be okay. When we're even in that environment, we're never truly safe because we could still die at any moment. At its core, you fear incompletion. You fear with this limited time we have that you're going to waste your potential. You fear death. I just invite you to look around you. Look at the changing seasons. Look at your family. Go through your phone. Look at pictures of your family from 5 years ago. Look how you look older. Look how your parents and family look older. Look how you've changed. Are you the same person you were 10, 5, even 1 year ago, even 1 week ago? How have you changed? Because the truth is, everything is dying around you, even in small ways. And I mean, this can sound depressing. I had a realization living out in Asia for 1.5 years. I will go back to see my family and I see things and life moving on. Because I go away and come back in, I don't notice things in a gradual way as if I was living there. Things are quite dramatic. I can see my parents getting older. I can see changes in my friends, seeing what people are doing that is completely different in their lives, seeing how I'm different, how my face looks older. And it can feel depressing, it can feel sad. But it also allows you to recognize that this is part of the process of life and allows you to put your attention and energy into the things that truly matter. I'd invite you to try 2 things. The first is the last breath exercise. I'd ask you to take a few moments, get to a quiet place, take a deep breath in, and just imagine that is your last breath. You hold it for a little bit longer than you would normally, and you imagine that that is the only time you're going to get to breathe again. This exercise gives us a sense in the everyday that the breath, something we take for granted so often, isn't going to go on forever. It allows us to appreciate every moment that we're able to breathe, we're able to be here in this moment. The other thing you can do is ask, what would I need to have done today for my life to feel complete? To feel like that day was everything it needed to be. I did everything I did everything I needed for today to be complete. A sense of completion every day. And that doesn't look like rushing through all of your tasks. Because not every one of your tasks, if you're someone who's been living without an awareness of death, that death is coming at some point, you may be picking up tasks that aren't that meaningful. This is about things that you know deep down in your core you should be doing. Maybe it's spending time with your family. Maybe it's creating and working on that side project. Maybe it's sitting in nature, going on a walk. Whatever it is you feel that you needed to do today, you did that. And if you never woke up tomorrow, you would have that feeling of contentment, knowing you've done what you wanted. Try these 2 exercises. They allow us to get more comfortable with death. They allow us to, as a result, by knowing death, by knowing that it's coming, knowing it's inevitable, we realise where we're going wrong in our lives and allow us to change. I wanted to speak about quickly an example. So a guy I know, he's having a kid in 6 months. He mentioned to me that as soon as that news was announced, he flicked the switch and he became that guy that he knew he needed to be the father of that kid. And he just changed that in an instant. And I think when we're aware of time passing and the urgency of situations, we can do the same. We can flick that switch. But if we're drifting through life, we're focusing on really small optimizations and getting a little bit better, and we're caught up in maybe work drama, we're caught up in maybe arguments in our family, that time passes by. We get caught up in the day-to-day and we don't recognize urgency. But when we have that sense of urgency, we can flick a switch and we can change who we are. So I'd like to ask you, what if you had 1 year left? Just a few questions to get you thinking here about how you would live differently. Would you quit your job? Or maybe you'd want to work harder to provide for your family? Would you show your true self to people, or would you continue to hide who you are? Would you be dishonest or truthful? Would you want to travel the world or spend every moment with your loved ones? Would you feel grateful to know your time is limited, to know that you have this 1 year left? Or would you feel resentment you have such a short amount of time and feel jealousy at other people? Another useful thought experiment you can try is, how would your life differ if you only had 1 year to live, or you had 10,000 years to live? Would you get things done quicker, with more gratitude and more appreciation if you had 1 year, or 10,000 years? And which situation would you actually prefer? Sit with these questions, because it's going to give you an idea as to whether at the moment in your life you're on the right track, and whatever comes up for you is okay. So that's the truth of death. We fear that it's coming. And this video isn't to make you feel bad. It's to give you perspective on your life at the moment, to give you awareness about the life you're pursuing, whether it's meaningful, whether you feel you're on the right path, and reflect on what you're grateful for, and give you a sense of urgency about what you want to change. I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.